Hey, Colleen, I'm finished with that book you lent me.
I don't remember lending it to you, but sure. Thanks for giving it back. How did you like it?
It was just okay.
Ow! That was weird. Did you hear that?
Hear what? I didn't hear anything.
Nothing, I guess. So why was it just okay? I really liked it.
I don't know, I just thought it was pretty mid.
There it is again! Are you sure you're not hearing this? Is it the construction outside?
Hear what? I didn't hear anything.
Are you still squatting here?
Oh, why would I do that?
You're lying to me. Did you even read the book?
Okay, fine. You're right. I didn't even read it.
Then why did you take it in the first place?
I don't know.
Move out!
Has this ever happened to you?
Don't segue into the intro for me. And we already made that joke. The ability to hear lies is one of those powers you wish you could choose in a game of Would You Rather, especially if the other option is like having noodles for arms or something. With this power, there would be no need for an expensive lie detector test just to find out if your partner really liked the Christmas present you bought them. You could finally tell if your friend actually likes that new haircut you got, or if they just think that you're cosplaying Will Byers. Gone would be the days of doubting people's real intentions. Life would be at peace. Or so you'd think. The ability to hear a lie and being unable to turn it off could soon become a curse rather than a gift, ultimately making you doubt those around you and even causing others to avoid you in turn. What if hearing lies was the reason that you closed yourself off to other people? And how would you even be able to put your trust in others again? Well, the shoujo manga I am talking about today wants to answer those same questions. Thank you to One Piece Books for sponsoring today's video. As one of my most anticipated manga releases of 2022, Usotoki Rhetoric is finally out in print. When I heard it was picked up for physicals by One Piece back in March, I was ecstatic to finally be able to read this series. The premise of the manga sounded so interesting to me, and what I saw of the art and the characters, they looked so lovely as well. Luckily for me, the first volume was everything I had hoped and expected it to be once I got my grubby little hands on it. With 10 volumes in total, Usotoki Rhetoric is a historical mystery manga by Ritsu Miyako that is set in the 1920s Showa era of Japan. The manga began serializing in the now defunct Basatsu Hanato Yume in 2012 and ended in 2018, a few months before the magazine folded. The main Hanato Yume magazine is really known for its adventure and its fantasy series like Yona of the Dawn, but the spin-off magazine was definitely more mystery, drama, and historical based, which is the perfect magazine for a series like Usotoki Rhetoric, which is all of that, plus even just a little bit more. The main heroine of our story is Kanoko Urabe, who just left her hometown and is looking for a new job. She decided to move after being shunned by those around her due to her peculiar ability to hear lies. The lies sounded like grinding or clanging metal in her ears, and she could always tell when someone was being dishonest. Kanoko's own honesty had gotten her in hot water though, as pointing out other people's lies and telling them about her ability made them wary of her, even endangering her own family in the end. So Kanoko thought it was best to find a place to call her own while hiding her talent. After spending a few days looking for work to no avail, Kanoko ends up at a local shrine, hungry and homeless. She is at her wit's end, but before she collapses, happens upon a man named Soma Iwai, who is a detective in the area. Although reluctant to help at first, Soma takes Kanoko to a diner where the family kindly treats her to a warm meal free of charge. Unfortunately though, Kanoko still has no place to stay, and the family doesn't seem to be lying when they say that their inn is all full. It's thanks to Soma, who offers Kanoko a place to sleep in the servants' quarters of his office building. Kanoko already feels welcome in this new town, but when she scolds the family's kid for lying to them, she wonders if everything up until now has been for nothing. Soma even seems to have caught on to her when he asks how she knew the kid was lying. She's even more distraught over her power when the next day the boy she scolded has gone missing. Kanoko blames her inability to keep her mouth shut on why the boy has disappeared, but Soma soon quiets her worries. He's already noticed that the boy may be at the local shrine where they met using his keen observational skills. However, once there, Kanoko realizes that something even more deadly dastardly could happen if she doesn't tell Soma about her powers to stop it. Fortunately, he believes her right away, and the two are able to keep the boy from meeting an untimely demise. While Kanoko is scared that Soma will tell others about her powers or find her weird after the incident, he simply just asks them to team up together. A girl with the ability to hear lies would be the perfect assistant for a down-on-their-luck detective. Kanoko still isn't sure if she believes that he won't find her creepy, but Soma's honesty once again eases her doubts, even telling Kanoko that her powers can be a force for good. Even within this first volume, you can tell that Usotoki rhetoric has a lot of heart to it. Kanoko has always been shunned growing up because of her ability, being unable to find a place that accepts her for her. By the end of the last chapter of this volume, you can already tell that Kanoko is slowly becoming more comfortable around Soma, where she can just unabashedly be herself. He's allowed her a home and a workplace that is free of judgment that she has just become so used to. I really enjoy the direction the story is going on the morality of lying and whether it can be just or not. The first detective jobs that Kanoko and Soma take together ask whether a lie can be helpful to others, or whether a lie may be to protect someone that you love. While Kanoko is a very honest girl, she also learns that condemning others for lying isn't always the moral thing to do. The fact that she can hear lies has always kept her from trusting others, even when a lie may have been necessary to keep someone safe. She doesn't need to rely on her power to know if someone is decent or not. She just has to put her faith in them. Since this is the first volume, I don't know whether or not this is going to be a running theme throughout the series. 2 out of the 3 detective stories follow this same line of moral questioning, so I'm going to assume that the rest of the series will as well. It is a really interesting message to add into a mystery series, though. Depending on if any of the detective work they take on gets more dangerous down the line, this could definitely pose more questions to Kanoko and what her beliefs are. With Soma by her side though, she will definitely be able to find the right path for herself, even if Soma has questionable morals of his own at times. Kanoko and Soma are extremely likable characters just right off the bat with very distinct personalities. Kanoko, as we know, is very pure and honest, while Soma is a bit of a con man. You would think these two personalities would clash, but they mesh together well due to Soma's kindness. He may seem like a brash and immodest man, but he is actually a keen observer to those around him. In a lot of ways, he gives the runner-up of the Tumblr Sexy Man polls, Reigen Arataka, a run for his also non-existent money. Behind the cockiness and self-assured behavior is a person who knows when to treat someone honestly. The one thing that Kanoko has needed up to this point, which gives her the confidence to trust Soma in turn. I'm really interested to see where Soma's character goes from here. While he's very enjoyable, his character doesn't have much backstory yet, so a lot of things are just very surface level at the moment. I love when 2 characters help each other emotionally, but right now Kanoko is really just helping him with work. I hope we'll get some moment where Kanoko is able to use her power to help him with a problem he has to solidify their trust in each other. As of right now, he's mostly just a very lovable goofball. One of my favorite moments between the 2 of them is actually right at the end of the first volume. They finally get paid for their first detective job together and start to twirl down the street in victory. It's really just a goofy moment that shows how close they've gotten together in such a short amount of time. Ending the volume on a really good joke twist that would definitely make anyone come back to read the next installment. I won't spoil the joke that happens because it genuinely had me laughing for like a straight minute when I read it. I was completely caught off guard by it. I'll real quick mention that the genre on a lot of sites is tagged as romance for this series, but from what I can tell in this first volume, it is much more slice of life and episodic mystery focused. It seems that romance will be taking a backseat to the main character's development throughout the 10 volumes of the story. So if romance isn't necessarily your thing, this manga may be right up your alley. Personally, I also don't find myself thinking that Usotoki Rhetoric needs much romance, as I already think the characters are great in their current dynamics. Outside of the story and the characters, the art is also just so cute. It isn't overly intricate or too simple, striking a nice middle ground between the two. The eyes are the usual bright, expressive shoujo eyes that we all know and love, while the tones and shading really set the mood for scenes. Their character designs convey their written personalities well, as you could probably make an educated guess on what they would be like just based off a first look. You can tell how much thought Miyako has put into the character designs in this series, not just by reading it, but also by looking at the author's notes in the side panel too. They mentioned several times how hard they tried to portray historical accuracy with the clothing styles and the hairstyles in this era. So, does Usotoki Rhetoric live up to the hype I had in my mind when I first heard it was announced? Absolutely it does. Usotoki Rhetoric accomplishes capturing my interest in the characters and the story basically in chapter 1, but also especially before the last chapter wraps up too. Right when I finished volume 1, I ran to go see when volume 2 comes out so I could snatch that up and continue reading ASAP. It's set to release on Valentine's Day of 2023, so this year instead of flowers or chocolates, maybe think of getting your partner Usotoki Rhetoric Volume 2. This was an amazing opening volume to this series. It perfectly set up my expectations for some great adventures in the future with the Iwai Detective Agency. The premise had me hooked before I even read it anyway, but the characters are going to keep me coming back again and again. Usotoki Rhetoric is a quirky, lovable, and fun series right from the get-go that has a lot to offer to a fan of any genre or demographic. I'm so happy we finally got this series in English, and I'm so excited to see where it goes from here on out. That does sound pretty good. I might actually read it next time before I steal your books to sell them. I see you've stopped lying at this point.
Daddy needs a new blazer.